The following video contains lots of profanity and even more disappointment. If you do not like negativity, 1. You should probably need to get help, and 2. Do not watch the following video. Thank you. Hello everyone, and this is SoulGamer70 doing something a slight bit different. If you can remember back, a few years ago I did a review and overview on the press conferences of E3. I reviewed Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, gave my opinion about them. I plan to do that, but now instead of just doing it all in one video, I'm thinking about doing it over multiple videos. One for Nintendo, one for Sony, one for Microsoft, one for which one did the best out of the big three, and one for the third-party producers, Bethesda, Square Enix, and Ubisoft, and EA. Let's start off with the negative one. Let's start off being pessimistic because practicality is really useful. Let's start off with what I believe to be the worst press conference of this year's E3. Nintendo. If you look at my channel, you'll see that I'm a pretty big Nintendo fan. Most of my games that I have Let's Played are usually derived from some kind of Nintendo game, either be inspired by or just straight up me playing a Nintendo game. That being said, this year's E3 press conference, it wasn't really a press conference, this year's Nintendo E3 digital event was abysmal. I am very disappointed with what Nintendo has brought to the table. Now some of you may say, I set my expectations too high. And I want to ask you this. Why would I not set my expectations high for an E3 digital event? Like, if I can't set my expectations high for a digital event for E3, then there isn't much point of believing in this company anymore. There isn't much point of me believing in Nintendo anymore. If you can't even set your expectations high for E3, then you really can't set expectations for anything else. Now that that's out of the way, what did they do wrong? The games they show wasn't inherently bad. Most of them will probably be considered fun in their own right. Skylanders, whatever Force it was. There was a new Mario tennis game. They spent freaking 30 minutes on Mario Maker, even though I do think that was worthy of E3. They also spent a lot of miscellaneous minutes on some other bullcrap that I don't really remember. There was a Zelda game, and there was a few other games. But none of these games could be considered bad in their own right. But why were they at E3? Most of them are time wasters at best. They weren't big reveals that would move systems. And that's what Nintendo, the Wii U, desperately needs right now. They weren't big enough to be considered E3 worthy. Besides Star Fox and the new Mario Luigi game and a few minutes on Mario Maker. I really don't think they should have spent half an hour on Mario Maker. Maybe like 5 minutes, because they already advertised the hell out of that game. That game is literally everywhere. Everyone already knows about it. That game has already been advertised the hell of. It has been advertised in the Nintendo World Championships. It did not need nearly half an hour of the conference. Star Fox, they started the E3 off great. Star Fox, that was a big game. That could have moved systems. But then they went into Skylanders. That was okay. That was much needed third-party support. So I'll give them a pass on that. And then they moved to Zelda. It looks good. But again, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't required for E3. It doesn't move systems. It's a spin-off Zelda game. And then what they do next, the next game they revealed, what felt like a big slap in the face. Metroid Prime. I forgot the subtitle of the name already. Metroid Prime. Let me just search this up real quick. Metroid Prime Federation Force. Look, I see a lot of people defending this game. Like, this is just a spin-off. You shouldn't ignore it. This is not a true Metroid game. Why are you treating it as such? like these kind of excuses. The thing is, lots of us Metroid fans has been waiting for a new Metroid since Other M. And most of us, not me, I did enjoy Other M, but most of us have been waiting for a good Metroid game since Metroid Prime 3. If this game have came out with another good Metroid game, another appealing Metroid game, then it mostly would have just been forgotten. No one had been talking about it. No one would have talked about it. But instead, Nintendo decided to only reveal this game and this game alone. You see the problem? This game wasn't big enough for E3. This game is a spin-off, and this game, most of us has been expecting a real Metroid game for years on end now. Most people think innovation is great, and that there are times where you shouldn't listen to your fans. But I think both is required. You need to both listen to your fans as well as deciding when not to listen to your fans. The former would have been the better option here, because because by doing this, all you're doing is making us lose faith in the Metroid franchise, which is a bad thing considering Metroid. It's a big thing. Metroid is a big thing for Nintendo. It's one of their big franchises, one of their biggest IPs. But you treat us with Other M, and then you back that up with Prime Federation. Prime Federation just shouldn't have been an E3. They should have just shown a true Metroid game, and then maybe shown Prime Federation like in a later direct or something. That would be my take. What did they show after that? I can't really even remember it right off the top of my head. They showed Prime Federation. I believe they showed Fire Emblem next. Those two were okay. Those two were pretty okay. Those two, okay, who cares? But those two has been already announced, but whatever. I'm gonna give them points for putting Fire Emblem at least in there to soften the blow of Metroid Prime Federation. I can't even speak after the atrocity that was Metroid Prime Federation. What I'm trying to say is, okay, Fire Emblem, it belonged at E3. I'll give them a pass for that. The next thing they showed was Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, I'm sure I'll enjoy the game. I'm sure I'll love the heck out of it once it comes out December 4th. But here's the thing. It was a release date of a game that came out in another country 2 months ago. Not only that, it's coming out in 8 months. I'm not saying it was a bad idea to show it at E3, but I'm also saying that it's not a good idea. I mean, they already spent enough time on Xenoblade Chronicles X. Again, I'm gonna enjoy the game as soon as it come out. It's probably gonna be a day one buy, most likely, after I see how it is. But it's probably gonna be a day one buy. But they're announcing a release date of a game that came out 2 months ago already on an E3 digital event. That's the big thing. This E3 digital event shouldn't be for the smaller games. It should have been big reveals to move the Wii U system, which is a big part of the reason why I think it wasn't necessary for Xenoblade Chronicles X to be at E3. Am I saying it was a bad idea? No. Am I saying I'm mad about it? No. But I do not think it should have been there. Now, after Xenoblade Chronicles X, they start showing just random games. I can't even remember them off the top of my head right now. The only one I can remember is Mario Luigi Paper Jam, because that one actually looks interesting. The rest of them looks like simple time waster. Again, they're gonna be good games in their own right, but they're not games that you should show at E3. I can barely remember some of the games they showed after Xenoblade Chronicles X. This E3 was abysmal. They spent too much. The puppets were more entertaining to look at than the games. They spent too much time on games they have either already revealed games that don't matter or games that won't move systems. The only game that was worthwhile was the original Star Fox, Super Mario, I can't talk. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, and Mario Maker, which they should not have spent nearly half an hour on. And arguably, it's gonna be hard, but you could put up an argument for Xenoblade Chronicles X. That's it. All the other games should not have belonged at E3 2015, especially not Prime Federation. I'm not mad. I'm really not mad. Nintendo has done this bullcrap over. Nintendo has done this shit over and over again. Nintendo has been disappointing us over and over again. Like, it's not. I'm not even really that mad at this point. It's just, I'm really disappointed with this E3. I wanted them to show me a reason why I have a Wii U at all. Why I bought a $300 Wii U about a few months after its launch, even knowing there wasn't a lot of great games for it. And throughout the years, they have been giving me more and more games. But it really doesn't look like 2015 is going to be the year. Okay, it doesn't look like the second part of 2015 is going to be the year where I'm going to be proud to have a Wii U. To be quite honest, if I were to rank this among the Wii U contestants, Nintendo will be dead last, behind Microsoft, behind Sony, behind Bethesda, behind